already know. We're here with Chris. We got Marcus, Comfort Cartoons, great YouTube channel. And we got Riff, and we got Ricky, and myself. We're here just having a good time so far. You know, we're just sitting down. Yeah. Just wanted to, you know, kind of explain yourself a little bit about who you are and kind of like what got you into the cartoon sphere.
Tell them about your channel and stuff too, so they know who you are.
Yeah,
you know?
so I pretty much got started on YouTube. Like, if we want to go back to YouTube, I mean, I've been on here pretty much as long as I can remember. As far as like my whole adult life, I've been on YouTube. But as far as getting into like the retro scene, maybe like 4 years now, I've been really diving into it, and it's just been fantastic. Just the community here is just incredible.
So my question to you, I know back in the day when you were doing YouTube, you were doing like, which we just found out at dinner before this, you were doing like sword stuff, and dude, you look like a ninja, dude. You were going wild slicing stuff to doing, in my opinion, almost what seems like the polar opposite, like literally kitty Spongebob cartoon stuff. What was the...
That's always been like the duality of like my personality, is like I'm just all the way here, all the way there, and like I've always been into both of them, but like I have just both those passions, and I've always wanted to dive into one of them, but just one of them had to be, I guess, took off better on YouTube. So therefore I kind of stuck with that for a bit.
And that was the weapons?
Yeah, I'm still into that. Like, I'm still obsessed with, like, every day I'm out there throwing knives. I'm out there, I'm watching YouTube videos on like gun reviews and all types of stuff. But like people that watch my other channel would be like, oh, what?
It's two like, polar opposites.
Yeah, and I think when I first started the Comfort Cartoons, I kind of tried to make it like it was kind of being myself a little bit, like not being myself in the sense of like kind of being a little bit more vulgar, you know. But I realized the substance of what I was talking about. There was a lot more kids watching. So I became a lot more like conscious about it. Like, okay, like in the other channel, most kids, there are some, but I mean, most people were adults looking up like, you know, katana videos and knife throwing tutorials, stuff like that. But when I knew kids were watching and parents, I started being like, okay, just for them, I'm going to try to be, you know, a little bit more, you know, suit and tied, a little bit cleaner.
Did you try to like ever bridge the two and be like, can I cut off SpongeBob's head in one slice, like with a...
Oh, sword? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, dude, one of my favorite like things is like Cake Quarter, he'll cut up Luigi in one of his shorts. One of my favorite things. You should maybe do it for SpongeBob, brother.
I mean, I've thought about turning a spatula, like getting like the highest, because they're actually a company that makes like really, really good weapons. I've like boasted about them all the time on my channel. It's called Cold Steel, and they just make some really solid weapons. And they had at one point they released a spatula,
so SpongeBob,
and it was like a legitimate like freaking combat ready spatula. Like I'm talking just like using it as a knife and flipping it. And I've been trying to find that spatula for like 5 years, and like it completely. It had one release, and then they stopped selling it, and I've not seen one person list it, but I've been looking for it for years because I thought that would be a great video, like the Ninja SpongeBob routine.
That'd be absolutely. I think everyone in this group would love to join you in with some weaponry.
Yeah. What kind of polarized you towards like the weaponry side of things?
Oh man, dude, like honestly, like the whole YouTube journey, like I feel really lucky in the sense of like being able to do that channel and then doing Comfort Cartoons. Like, man, I've been able to like accomplish everything I wanted to as like my 11-year-old self. Like that came from me being like 11. Like, dude, who didn't want to get like a sword and pretend they're like a Power Ranger or a Ninja Turtle and go slicing stuff up, you know, and what
if you had to delete one channel, which one would you pick? The cartoon one or the weapon one? Ooh. If you had to, right now. Have to delete one.
Somebody would be mad either way, but no matter what.
I want to know what Marcus thinks, not what the internet would think.
I would say at this moment in my life, I find more fulfillment doing the... I'm like getting nervous because I'm like, I know there's somebody who's like, dude, why did you... I can't believe you said that.
You don't want to piss off the weapon people.
Yeah. Let's go with the Comfort Cartoons. No, I would say I find a lot... I can see myself... You know, I can't be like, you know, freaking 60 years old out here, you know, swinging katana. Maybe, but it gets a little harder. But
well, what's weirder, being a 60-year-old swinging katanas or being a 60-year-old talking about SpongeBob?
I mean, I could ask you know, the guy who's in video games still too. I think being into video games, I think you're like a nerd for life, right? Yeah. So like if you're into video games, I'm sure you're going to be into it when you're like 60, 70, you're still going to be, you know, collecting the same
almost
stuff,
there.
talking about...
I'm 40 now.
All of us almost there.
You're going to still be talking about Pokemon.
Yeah, hold that one to yourself over there.
You know, I think that's going to become more okay as we get older, right? Like I'm sure like what we look as adults now, like old people, we think like, oh yeah, they're into like knitting and like the most generic old people stuff. But I think people closer to this generation, it's going to be like, oh yeah, he's into SpongeBob, he's into Pokemon, like, you know, they're into like geeky stuff because that's kind of the culture we grew up in.
Yeah. We're at the peak of, you know, gaming started 70s, 60s, late, you know, 80s. So all those people are now our age range. So I think we're the first like generation of people to come through where the oldies are where grew up on video games.
Yeah.
So it's just part of our culture.
Do you guys have like a cartoon that you grew up, like very first cartoon that you guys got into that you watched and you really enjoyed, like kind of got you into that niche of watching shows?
Very first, it's interesting thing. What was your the other day? It's so weird. The other day I remembered like I had a childhood moment where I remembered the first piece of like media that I consumed, and it was Sesame Street, and I remember it was Oscar the Grouch specifically. But if I had to think what would be my first cartoon I ever watched, it was probably the Flintstones. Not that I was even, that was before my time, but I just think it's one of the first cartoons I started watching.
Curtis is going to say that dates you a lot because he said that.
That's like Flintstones was what, 50?
Bro, but like our audience is like around their age, so like they all kind of grew up.
It's like, Felix the cat, and like,
like me and you are different.
My thing.
Are you guys talking bad about Felix the cat?
I mean, he's great, but
he's older.
He's got great wall clocks.
I feel like for me it was Looney Tunes. I remember as a kid just always seeing like Bugs Bunny on, which unfortunately is not as popular anymore.
Oh yeah,
But back then, that's probably my earliest memory is like Bugs.
I loved Elmer Fudd.
Yeah, Elmer Fudd, Bugs, and all that stuff. But I do remember like Flintstones early on.
Yeah,
I have memories of that.
Tom and Jerry, bro. That was where it was at for me.
Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's an old one too. That's like a 60s cartoon.
I think the Looney Tunes kind of transcended too, because I don't know for Curtis, but like for me, like the Space Jam, like Space Jam was like huge. I feel like that's where I really learned about the Looney Tunes. Like then when I saw Looney Tunes on, I was like, oh, those are the people from Space Jam. That's like where I knew them from.
I actually grew up watching Tiny Toons.
Yeah, that too.
Great show.
Yeah, my dad actually was like super into like Looney Tunes, and he had a from his softball team, for some reason they called him Taz, and that was like one of his very first tattoos that he had. And now that he thinks about it now, he got it covered up and everything, but he didn't like it now, but he loved it back then when he was called Taz.
Dude, I'm gonna call him Taz next time I see him.
No way, dude. But I think one of the first shows that I fell in love with was Ed, Ed and Eddie. I don't know if anybody ever watched that.
Heck
I remember that.
Dude,
absolutely.
That one that would be like the typical show that like, you guys would enjoy, with like the typical stereotypes. You had Rolf, the guy who had the goats, and then you had like the poor white.
Why are you saying we like stereotypes?
Bro, because we love them, bro. What about Apu? Simpsons. What are we talking about?
Bring back Apu.
Bring back Apu. Like, for real. How about you, Ricky, man?
For me, it'd probably have to be the like the Mickey Mouse stuff.
Oh yeah,
like the Mickey classics, and then I was really into Heathcliff.
Heathcliff.
Do you remember Heathcliff?
The not Garfield.
I remember
Heathcliff. I was like,
Heathcliff, no one could, something like that.
Terrorize the neighborhood.
Dude, I would never remember that song for $1 million unless you brought this up just now.
I thought he was just a newspaper cat.
Dude, he was like a troublemaker. He beat up all the other cats. He was like the main dude.
I thought he was Garfield for like a few years.
Garfield.
Yeah.
Garfield was like Curtis.
I think I did like him better than Garfield. Yeah, he was
Lazy,
a little
orange,
better.
and fat. That's me right there. wait, we're talking about orange and fat here. But also, like, before you kind of got into comfort cartoons, did you think that like you would be collecting as much when you got into it?
Oh man, no. I think everybody that collects, it starts off with like one or two things, and then you're just like, oh well, I can make a room on this shelf, and then it becomes like a full blown addiction. You're like, okay, well, like I'm sure there's room above this roof somewhere. Like where can I put more and more stuff? And like I love it.
What's your biggest item that you collect for? Is it SpongeBob?
I think because you're asking about my cartoon that I connected with. I think that's the show that like I can really. Like I'd say made the biggest impression on my life was SpongeBob. Like I think it sculpted who I am, like my sense of humor, a lot of stuff like that. And like I wouldn't be who I am almost without that show because I've just spent so much time watching it. So I'd say SpongeBob is the one that I collect the most. But that's also because like if you're talking about Nickelodeon stuff, like 90% of it is SpongeBob or Dora, so it's going to be they're the merchandise king. So if you're collecting SpongeBob, you can't avoid it.
Who's your favorite character in SpongeBob?
SpongeBob.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think a better question for me would be like a side character.
Okay, besides SpongeBob, who's your favorite character?
I would go with the Flying Dutchman.
Nice.
Flying Dutchman's
Yeah, I think he's just sick. You know, he's got the pirate kind of aesthetic to him. He's kind of spooky, and I think that's what I like about Nickelodeon as a whole is like it wasn't so cookie cutter like Disney in some ways. Like I love Disney too, but like they always had these kids with like these perfect lives. They have great parents, everything. You know, but then you had Arnold on like Nickelodeon who's like living in this freaking
sick.
crazy house with this crazy grandma. You had like more relatable characters, and I think SpongeBob being so detached, you know, that helps.
Mr. Krabs personally is my favorite.
Mr. Krabs.
Mr.
I like
Money.
Mr. Krabs.
He's just
Mr.
great.
Krabs. Everybody,
I
Mr.
like
Krabs.
all those characters. I even like
Money-driven
Gary.
freaks.
Gary the snail. I love Gary. I know.
He's great.
When were you? How old are you? If you mind me asking.
I just turned 30.
Just turned 30. Okay. And you're so same age as you guys are
30.
the same age, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys have any affiliation towards like 80s cartoons, or because you didn't grow up with them, like there's not like He-Man, G.I. Joes, any of that?
I think that like 80s culture is so powerful that like you had to have like been a part of it in some way.
Type of, some type
like
of
the horror movies, Gremlins, you know, Ninja Turtles, like that's just like I think that the 80s generation held it down like crazy, you know, like everybody it's everywhere.
I feel like 80s was such a good like launching point for what is now like nerd culture and like pop culture. Like mid 80s we got so many like majorly iconic IPs in the 80s that are still like being solidly held to this day, and like some of the biggest like recreations of things that people keep bringing back. I feel like so much of it spawned from like that Back to the Future vibe.
I think it's just the era of time it was in too. I think it was a simpler time. You didn't have like cell phones and all that stuff. You know, we can go on about that for a long time, but like the 80s and 90s, that culture is just kind of still going now. That's why we're rebooting everything, making the same things over and over again, because there's like nothing as like rich as the culture from that time period. Like I try my best to hold down like the 2000s, you know, because I've noticed like, you know, growing up, like the people that were in the 80s and the 90s, they've done such a good job keeping that alive. And I feel like for the 2000s generation, like there's not really a lot of people that really advocate for it or like what was big at that time. So I try my best to kind of represent the 2000s as much as I can.
Good. Keep it going. Do you know Jordan Fringe, that YouTube channel?
Oh yeah, I'm friends with Jordan.
Yeah, we've known him for a long time too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he used to be in our videos way back in the day.
Oh really?
Yeah, way before he was doing his cartoon stuff. Way
Heck
back
yeah.
in the day.
Yeah, I knew him when he was like, I was like a lot closer when he was doing his Pokemon stuff mostly.
Yeah, he was into Pokemon too. The Wait, Remember.
I was on his podcast. Yeah.
Oh, right on. Very cool. You haven't talked to him in a minute, but talked to him maybe like a year ago. But
gotcha.
Yeah, he does good cartoon stuff as well.
Fantastic.
Do you have like a certain goal in mind when it comes to all of your channels, but relatively towards comfort cartoons and stuff like that?
You know, like when I really like, I think my first channel, it was just like, let's get to 1 million subscribers. You know, it was like, that was the goal. Like that was the dream. Like, how is that even possible? You see all these YouTubers unboxing their giant play button. Like I grew up, like, that's what I always wanted to be. Like every kid has their dream. Like I want to be like a fireman or a police officer or whatever. Like I wanted to be a YouTuber, like the whole time. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be this. And then I got that channel to that point. And now with Comfort Cartoons, literally I started that channel just as like a way to vent and get my interest out,
like a passion project.
Passion project, exactly. Nice. And like the fact that it's even grown to this scale, I had no clue that was even going to be a thing. So I wouldn't even say I have a goal. I'm just like, I'm grateful to do it, you know.
So with the weapons channel that you had, you got that to 1 million subscribers.
1.7 million.
Wow, you have 1.7. What's the name of that channel?
ADHD's World.
ADHD's World.
Yep.
And how much does Comfort Cartoons have?
200,000 almost.
200.
Yeah.
Dang, you got it to 1.7. And you still actively make those videos?
I haven't made a video up there in like 6-7 months.
Really?
You know, like I think that's what I said. Like that's what talking about like my goal. I wouldn't say that I got to that goal, but I got to the point where like I had achieved a lot of what I wanted to achieve there. And I felt unfulfilled in my life of like doing the stuff that I'm also really passionate about. Like I got very niched in of like, oh, okay, this is who I am. This is what I'm doing. But I'm also a nerd, you know, I'm also like a geek, and like I felt like I had to be like this edgelord, like, you know, I have to be like on the top of my, you know, just intense all the time, just throwing things, breaking things. And I was like, you know, let's just start like a laid back channel where I'm just like unboxing stuff, because like I was doing that stuff, you know, blowing stuff up, shooting things, doing all this crazy stuff. But when I got off the camera and I went in my room, I was watching Nickelodeon collection videos, you know, watching people doing gaming videos. And that was like a part of me that I feel like wasn't getting out there. So I was like, you know what, with this time that like I've been able to get myself in a decent enough financial position to start focusing on this too, you know, and see if I can make something with that, and, you know, just for fun, and kind of rolled into something bigger.
I can relate to that because I had started a coffee company at one point, and I was having a difficult time being like a coffee guy, which is very different than a video game store owner guy, and like having to wear like different hats. And like I'd be like, okay, now I'm gonna not be video game store owner guy. I'm gonna go be like coffee barista guy, and it was like different dress and like different like the way you look and everything. And then I was like, I need to chouse one of these. I can only be one.
Crystal the Baristo. I like it.
Coffee cartoons. You guys can combine brands.
Now, monetarily though, like wouldn't 1.7 million subscribers, wouldn't you make a lot more money like putting videos out on that
That's
channel?
what everybody tells me. That's what everybody tells me. Like people in the comments, you know, like, oh, why would you stop doing that to do this thing that you're making less money? But I mean, like I did well enough, and I'm still gonna do some of those videos as well too. But like, I had to get to a point where it's like, okay, am I going to be doing what I'm doing for money, or am I doing it for fulfillment? You know what I mean? Like you only have one life, and it's like, you know, it's not about who dies with the biggest pockets, right? You know, so like I want to do something that like I enjoy.
Me and Chris both looked at each other like,
You're like, wait a second.
me and Chris both paused. And we said Mr. Krabs. Wasn't it obvious?
You know,
Get this guy off the show.
like, you know, like for me, like I'm doing all right. You know, I don't have like some like crazy luxurious lifestyle. I'm just like, you know, I drive a basic car. I wear basic clothes. I spend all my money that I like, you know, extra like luxurious purchase collecting. Yeah. You know, so that's kind of my thing. So I don't have like these crazy needs, and the fact that that covers it and I enjoy it a lot, you know, I just, you know, I'm going to do both, but you know, I'm good doing that one.
In all reality, I actually agree with
Yes,
that.
of course.
You know what I mean? Like I like making money and I like working hard, but there is the fulfillment part of doing something that you love that is really priceless, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, once you find that and you're doing that.
And if you get rich doing what you love, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
It's not to say that I didn't love what I was doing there, but it's like, I think because I have ADHD, I'm like, I have so many versions of myself that like I have to scratch all these different itches of like things that I want to do. I have four channels for a reason, because literally I'm like, oh, I kind of want to do this. Oh, I kind of want to do that. And like, you know,
exactly where I'm at too, man. I know exactly how it feels where you're spread out so many ways, but you're like, I want to be passionate about this, but this is also cool, right?
Yes, exactly.
ADHD is a problem, but it's also can be kind of like a superpower in a way. I feel
I say it's a superpower.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like, you know, you have it when you're just doing a million different things. And you have to try to learn to control it. And we probably, if you have it, you're always like, how do I get my, you know,
and if you love
focus,
if
you know,
you're fixated on it, like you're unstoppable.
If you can focus on it, you are unstoppable. Because I will go ridiculously hard, and I'm sure you will, and whoever else has ADHD knows.
That's the same thing. Like I have friends that are like, oh, like you're telling me you're waking up, you're working till like 3 a.m. and then you're waking up to go to the flea market at 4 a.m. and you're going to be filming it. Like, do you ever just turn it off? And I'm like, no, I guess. Yeah. And they're like, well, like, aren't you tired? I'm like, it doesn't feel like
if anything, work. It fuels me to do it.
Yeah, like it doesn't. None of this feels like work, because I'm just like, I'm so like it. Like, yeah, fueled by like the energy of doing it. But when I was doing just one thing niche, I did feel drained. So I was like, okay, you know, let me just kind of get refreshed, get something. You know, I think it's resurrected my love for YouTube a lot more than it was when I was technically getting 500, 1,000 video views. I was, growing thousands of subscribers a week. I felt less passionate about like YouTube at that point than I do now with a smaller channel.
I get it.
Nice.
Do you now find like almost calming to be able to go to like flea markets and it's just like there's no stress and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that like filming it is like definitely like been a fun process, but it's also a little like you guys make it look easy, like it's a little stressful, because you're trying to like capture everything at the same time, make sure the shots are good.
It's funny you say that.
Not lose out on deals. You gotta find it.
I have a video coming out this Thursday, which this will go out after that video, where I literally talk about that, where I'm like, I need to like hire a cameraman. Like, I'm so tired of like living through the lens while I'm filming. I just like the old days, we used to just have someone film us and I just did my thing. And we did our thing. I don't like to have to be like, did I get this right shot? Did I do that? Did I do this? So we'll see.
So yeah, it's like doing that, like you just get so fixated on the camera that like, I don't know if you guys have this issue, but for me, like, because I do film 3 to 4 videos a week, I feel like it pretty much never turns it off. So like basically doing those flea market days, like hanging out with you guys at the flea market, that was like one of the only days I turned it off. Like I'm just like, oh, okay, I am not on camera. Yeah. So now filming it is cool, but at the same time, it's like I've been doing it every other weekend, so I can kind of still have that break, because the YouTuber in me is still like, oh man, I wish I was filming right now because this is like sick.
Yeah.
You know, and I love sharing it with people, and that, like, I don't know, it's like a back and forth, right?
Yep.
Like,
I get it.
So you hunt at the same flea market we hunt at, which is Golden West. Yeah. How long have you been hunting there?
I know. There's still people in the comments asking.
So out of the bag.
Can we just bleep that like he just cussed like terribly?
Yeah, bleep that, cut that. Yeah. But so you are at the same flea market. How long have you been going there?
I've been going there for like, I don't know. I've seen like you guys there for a long time before we started talking. Like maybe like a year. Like I'd seen Chris at the Cypress one, I think.
Okay.
And like I saw him, we were like looking at the DVDs, and you looked like zoned in, like you were locked in. So I was like, I'm just gonna stay out of his way. So I just like went around, and I was like, okay. And I didn't know that you knew these guys yet.
Gotcha.
And then I'd seen them with like the camera one day, and like I remember just like I didn't know exactly. I knew, like I told you, I watched a couple of your videos, but I didn't know that was you yet.
Got it. Yep.
So like I had seen you filming, and I was like, I'm just gonna try to stay out of the background, because I'm sure there's a chance that somebody's gonna say like, oh, I see so and so in the background, and then I don't want to make it like some weird thing, you know?
Oh, it's weird.
And then it happened, and then that literally happened, and then
no, that's great. Yeah, I put two and two together because I've seen you in my thumbnails a bunch of times, and I was like, oh, I think that's that dude, Comfort Cartoons, where I like his thumbnails. That's all I thought in my head.
Oh, thank you.
And then went over and talked to you, and I was like, oh yeah, he's a cool guy.
Now,
regardless of what Curtis says.
Curious, did you know about going to Golden West because of watching content that was there, or did you just know it was a good place to go?
No, I think like it's kind of famous in this area at this point. Yeah, I was going to Cypress.
You guys are name dropping all the names.
Dude, people always ask me in the comments section. I'm just like, what do I lie? I just put what it is, you know? So like I started going to those ones, and yeah, just people were like, oh yeah, you should go to this one. You should go to this one if you like games and stuff like that. And then I was like, yeah, this one kind of is the best one.
Yep.
Yeah. What's the rarest or priciest thing in your collection?
Man, I don't know. It's actually something that might have just recently changed. There's actually 2 items I'm working on that, like, I don't know if I should talk about them, but maybe I will. There's like
that chair you got from Curtis, isn't it?
The chair I got from Curtis is a really nice one. But recently I got a Paul Tibbett card. That's it's like the biggest card, the rarest SpongeBob card you could possibly have.
Oh man.
It's a sketch card done by Paul Tibbett, and he does a lot of artwork, but trading cards are so sought after that the fact that it's in a licensed trading card game essentially, or not a game, but a collectible card game.
Yeah.
He did these sketch cards, and it was like a very particular circumstance where you had to have these packs, which just the booster packs for these are like, $50-$60, but the box is like $900.
Yeah.
So they're super pricey, but you had to get the packs that have his sketch card in it. Was like a 1 out of 100 of packs you could only get at Target. So it's like this really niche card, and there's only a couple of them out there that even exist, and I got 2 of them.
Wow.
Ooh.
And I got one of them sent off to PSA, and as of right now, or when I recorded the video, it's the only PSA 10 in the world.
Wow.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so that one, a PSA, I think like a 7 sold for like around 2,000, and 7, if you know cards, like there's a 7 and a 10 is massive.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the value on that is, but I think the craziest thing in the collection, because I've had the most offers for it, is the Nickelodeon sign. I get every week almost, there's like somebody reaches out to me like,
what do you think it's worth?
I've had offers as high as 20,000. Yeah.
What is it?
A giant Nickelodeon sign inside of my
original one?
Yeah.
Where was it originally?
It was in the Nickelodeon store. It was out the outside of the store in I think New Hampshire or something like that. New Jersey. Yeah, it was on the
close
building.
to you back in the day, dude.
What's that?
That was close to you back in the day.
It was. Yeah, from New Hampshire, and it made its way all the way out here.
I had to get it brought on a truck all the way
here.
here.
You bought it from New Hampshire and had it brought here.
I have the video on my channel. It's like, I think it's like maybe the first video, like one of the first videos on Comfort Cartoons is me, like I had already built that room and stuff because I was just collecting. And I was like, okay, let's like start doing this. And I think one of the earliest video on there is me getting that sign and like showing that footage. I had the footage, dude. I was literally so this sign's massive. It's like 8 feet long, maybe 5.5 feet tall, and weighs like 300 pounds. It's all metal. Like
dang.
One solid piece.
One solid piece of metal.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow. And it lights up and everything?
No, it doesn't light up. I added my own LEDs just because it looks sick, you know.
Smart, dude.
But I had this, so this is just how like committed as a collector I was, and the person I was in a relationship with, you know, I'm not with them anymore. Maybe this is why. But this sign was in a wooden pallet behind my couch in my old house.
Yeah,
like just sitting there for about a year because I didn't have the right place to put it up, like in the building, you know, I was in.
Yeah.
So once I moved, I finally had a chance to hang it up. So I made like a whole video out of like it finally getting out of its wooden casing over a year of like trying to get it situated and got it put up on the wall. And then, you know, that's been like kind of like the mascot of my channel is that sign.
G's,
awesome. 20.
Dang. I'm pulling up something that we've been wanting. I mean, Marcus is going to be a guest at SoCal, but we're also doing something else with SoCal. We're doing what, Chris?
SoCalRetroGamingExpo.com, by the way.
Yes, sir.
Get your tickets now. Okay,
what are we doing right now?
Yeah, we're going to be doing
we're going to do a giveaway.
he looks so shocked. He's just looking up. He's like, what? All right, explain. Can we explain to the audience?
So we had people, the true G's in the world, bought VIP tickets to SoCal. There's many things that it gives you, but one of the things we want to do is give away 3 special edition SoCal Gaming Expo skateboards. Sure. We're going to give away 2, though, right now. You're going to pick them up at SoCal. So we have a little dial right here that's going to have a fun little race. Everybody's name who bought VIP tickets gets thrown in this. And
okay, do special guests get a chance?
Sure, your name's in there.
So and this design here is designed by Tom Ryan. So this is the T-shirt design. It is an homage to Skate or Die.
Show it on camera 1.
Huh?
I'm showing
Oh, yeah. And, so all you need to do is put on, what do you call them, trunks or trucks? Trucks.
Wheels, bearings, grip tape.
You can put on trunks, too. Why not?
Hey, I like trunks.
Wear clothes.
DBZ.
So you need trucks.
You can wear whatever you want.
And what do you need? A grip on the front?
Grip tape.
Grip tape. So you need grip tape.
But good news,
Pause.
OC Ramps will be there at SoCal Gaming Expo, and you can get it all dialed up there.
And then you can do what? Flip kicks, right?
Kick flips.
Brother. All right, so we're drawing 2. You guys.
Yeah, 2 people.
What if the same person won twice in this? That'd be crazy.
All right, so this is only you are eligible to win this if you bought our VIP ticket. If you bought more than one of those, say you bought 2 or 3, you are in there 2 or 3 times.
Nice.
Oh, dang.
Yep. So I believe there is.
And you just pick them up at the expo.
Yes, I think there's like 150 of these right now. So 2 of you lucky VIP holders right now. Yes, pick up at the expo.
Getting it for free.
For free, yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Guys, you guys ready? You guys are ready? I wish I had a drum roll.
Dibs if they don't pick up.
All right, it's set.
Oh!
Look at that.
How do I start it? Oh,
Literally. Does it hypothetically you?
I think you click start right there. Yep.
Bro, look at all these heads right here, dude.
This is a Phineas and
Yeah, I know.
Ferb. There's, like, Ferb back
Ready?
there.
3, 2, 1, go.
Let's go. I like that we can only reach.
My money's on the green hair guy right there. Look at him. He's a
There's a
freaking
lot of
champ.
people in there.
He's going.
Oh!
Okay, I see the
There's always
system.
one at the end, though, that comes flying up. Wow.
Dang, dude, who's gonna win? Oh, really?
She's gonna tire her out quick.
Oh.
She's gonna dig her.
Jim Petticord. All right, that's the first winner is Jim.
Petticord.
And by the way, you just picked this up at SoCal.
Hold on, let me take a picture of that.
He didn't look like a Jim.
I'll do it right now. I got it. We're good. I got it. We're good.
Okay, take a picture. Jim Petticord.
All right, and then I say remove winner from race, right? Right here.
You could either run it back
doing
or
her
pick,
victory
you
lap.
could pick a different one if you want to go back and pick like something else.
Pick a different one. It's so exciting.
All right,
Yeah.
you
Go-
guys just
go
made it
back.
harder
Oh,
for me.
never mind. Don't. He's
Just
juggling
do
over
another.
here.
You can do the same one. It's
All
fine.
right, let me
Curtis.
go back to the page, dude. All right, hold up. Back to the page.
So Marcus, Nickelodeon, huh?
All right,
No, we're not doing it. We're racing it again, dude.
racing it.
Yeah, we're back. We're
This
back.
is the
Ready?
second winner.
We're starting. It's going.
All right.
Dude, number 38, she's gonna win, I can tell.
Oh, yeah?
She's gonna burn out, though.
Ooh, Tomar's going.
Wait. Rip is here. No. Those are short shorts. I see them.
Oh no, here comes Brandon.
Oh my God!
Brandon's pulling ahead. Angel
me too.
Tomar.
Oh man!
Angel Alvar,
Let's
congratulations. You guys can pick it up.
Also doesn't look like a Miguel.
Yo, that's
We'll also send you guys an email
Are
if
these
you
sex
just
accurate?
want.
Well, so yeah, pick up your boards at SoCal, SoCal Retro Gaming Expo, Expo.com. It's going to be the best convention you've probably ever been to in your life. I'll say the majority of people have told us that.
And if you don't pick it up, apparently it goes to the special guest.
Yeah, if you don't pick them up, we'll officially give it to Marcus.
all right.
You don't want that, right?